No, so from there, he had his foot in the door. He's a knight. It was then possible for the following people to come to earth as squires: God, Gabriel, Nathan, and Joshua. Joshua, son of Nun. So Yorky's oldest brother is Joshua. And so each one of those people wanted to come to earth as a knight. And so the first one to turn up was Gabriel. And another thing about being a squire is they needed woolen shirts and woolen jerseys to wear underneath their armour because they have to do watch at night, and they also had to work as sentries on the gate. Whenever there are sentries, it's always squires together. Whenever they are on the wall, it's squires and soldiers, but they divide into the two groups and remain squires at one end, soldiers at the other, or archers at the other. Archers have their own sentry roster that they follow, and there are always archers on the wall. Soldiers and squires die every night from the cold. During winter, that always happens. So if you don't have a woolen shirt and jersey, you'll die there. And you wear it underneath your armour. Even though it's hot, you still keep it on. With knights, they don't wear anything over the top of their armour at all, because a horse generates heat, which heats the armour, which keeps you warm. The wearing of the mantle is when it's hot. So in the morning, when it's cold, you put the mantle over your armour, keeps you cool. And throughout the day, it continues to keep you cool. So, it prevents the heat of the sun heating your armour up. And so when you're in the desert or in Europe or even the heat in England, mantle is quite handy. If you don't have one, you can easily and quickly die of dehydration. Times and moments in a day where you get a chance to eat or drink are minimal. You always have to watch the other guy, because the knights around you want to kill you and take your armour and your money. Remember, they don't get paid. And they don't get fed either. They want your food as well, if you've got it. And they know you've got it because they saw you catch it. Or they saw your squire catch it. With soldiers, at the end of battle, how soldiers and knights and archers get paid, if you attacked another side's castle, they get to pillage the towns, and they rape and pillage the place. With Yorky, he has a policy of killing rapists, and so this wound up in the military law in the UK, and is still there to this day. So there's no people allowed to be raped. If Yorky's in town, otherwise he'll kill the soldier, even though he's on his own side, or knight or archer. And so that was during Yorky's time as a knight. Being knighted, you do not get off your horse and bow down and have the king place a sword over your shoulders and say, "I knight you." That is fiction. In reality, you stay on your horse, the king looks at you, you're a knight from now on. That's it. There's nothing else. In Yorky's case, when King George II told Yorky that he's a knight, he brought his sword up to his face and then back to his side, which resembles the officer's salute on this day that is used when officers have their sword out. That is where that came from. All the other knights noticed it and thought it was cool. They do not salute lifting the visor. No one lifts the visor at all. The visor is heavy, and when you lift it, you have to use a wooden wedge to keep it up there. When you're addressing the king or anyone, it's always down, because you know you can't trust anyone, and you want to kill the guy if he wants to kill you. Sometimes you just kill them. That's the nature of what happens with knights. So the tradition of saluting with the hand is not from what people think. You simply cannot just use that one hand, and you do not use it in that shape. You put the thumb underneath the visor. You have to unlock it first and then lift it up and then put the wedge in. You never ever do it when you're addressing a king, because he always has his bodyguards with him and you might wind up having to kill them, which happened a few times with Yorky. So there's some traditions there that people aren't aware of, and how Yorky became a knight. His horses' names are Horse, who's 7 foot tall, and Mildred, who's female, who's 9 feet tall. So Mildred carries all the gear, while Yorky rides horse. And both horses were trained to fight and kill people. They're extremely good at doing it. And even left on their own, they still kill people. In self-defense. And in protecting squires, which always happened. So that's a bit about knights that people aren't aware of. I'm the Archangel Daniel, and I'm from heaven.